Robots Radio presents
the Cyberpunk Lorecast.
Welcome to the Cyberpunk Lorecast, where style is just as important as substance. Welcome to the podcast where we explore the lore, news, and gameplay of the Cyberpunk games and other dystopian worlds. I'm your host, Robots. All right, Cyberpunks, we are back for the final episode of the Cyberpunk Lorecast in 2020. This is it. We have made it through the year. This is our last episode of the year, and we will be coming back next year with a whole bunch of new episodes. But this is also an exciting episode because it is our patron chat for the month of December. And I'm your host, Tom or Robots. I'm here with Captain Logan as usual. Captain, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing? I'm good. I've been playing maybe a little too much Cyberpunk for my own good, but having a blast in there. I can't wait to talk about it.
Awesome. And then because this is our patron chat, we have Kaither. Kaither's back with us. Kaither, how's it going?
Fine. Hi. Not playing enough Cyberpunk.
Not playing enough. Yeah. If you tune into the live stream, we are live. It is Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And if you are here for the early part of our live stream, then you'll catch some of our banter and you'll hear us talking about how Kaither's had to work way too much at work this week. Busy with holiday stuff and work and not able to play enough. But we're going to get into that on the second half of this episode because we're going to dig into Kaither's experience, because with this show, we've talked about my experience and Logan's experience, and I've put it out there into the world. I want to hear our listeners' experience as well. So if you are currently live with us on Twitch, then please share as we talk about your experience. We'll be reading it and we might call some stuff out. But I especially want to hear from our patrons. What is your experience so far? What are you thinking about the game and how far have you made it so far? And where do you think this game is going to go as it continues to develop? So we're going to get into that, but we're going to start this episode out with some news because every week there's a ton of news around this game because the internet's abuzz with it still. And why don't we just go ahead and dive right in? We have some interesting news here. This is an article from tomshardware.com, and it looks like there is an author out there, a coder, who has put together a one-click tool which promises to up your frames per second by about 30 frames per second with one little click if you're on PC. It's kind of interesting. There's, we'll quote the article here. It says, according to the author, Easy Optimizer for Cyberpunk 2077 provides a superior result than just cranking down the image fidelity. And there's an example here. With a GeForce GTX 1070 Ti, which is now 2 generations old, but is still a pretty substantial card. This card will definitely run games at 1080p for sure. The author recorded frame rates that spanned from 42 frames per second to 51 frames per second with the game's default settings, which isn't too bad. Under the balanced mode, using the optimizer, the frame rates improved greatly and ranged between 54 and 71 frames per second, pushed it up above the 60 frames limit, which is where you generally want to be if you're PC gaming. Lastly, the max boost mode considerably upped the frame rates to around 51 to 80 frames per second. In the daytime scenes, frame rates hit as high as 88 frames per second, mostly because the nighttime scenes have more lights going on and reflections and those kinds of things. Logan, do you have any thoughts about this? This seems like magic.
Cool.
This is magic, right? Why weren't the devs able to do this?
I think a lot of this could be done, and I think this is kind of like a band-aid for what the code's going to actually turn out to. The fact that they're able to get these kind of results is absolutely insane. But I'm glad. I think that the mod community is diving headfirst into the Cyberpunk world on PC, and I'm jealous as a console player. I wish I could have that ability, but at the same time, my console is significantly more powerful than my PC, so I feel like I'm still getting a decent frame rate for what I'm playing. But it's so crazy to think that one tool can get that much improvement just on the one thing for that. So
30 frames over 51 is, what is that? 60% increase in frame rate. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. So it tells me that there's a long way to go before this game gets fully optimized. And I imagine that this kind of is what we should expect for like next gen console versions, and that if they can do this in, you know, the short amount of time that the game's been out, then the devs have tons and tons of capability to be able to handle it, or at least, you know, the devs can look at this, you know, reverse engineer it and then apply whatever they can safely to the actual game, and hopefully give this guy a little credit in game for doing so well.
Right. Sometimes people get hired from this kind of stuff as well. Like if what they're doing actually is working well, and it's not, I mean, this is still early, right? This came out this week. It's not crashing the game too much, or it's not breaking things in the background or things with the physics engine or whatever in order to get this kind of frame rate. Then, you know, time will tell. Kaither, are you playing on console or on PC? Consoles. So mods and these kinds of updates aren't really going to be an effect for you until they really fix the game, huh?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Sadly, no.
Yeah, sadly.
I'm hoping that that consoles will, because I mean, Skyrim just had a release, or like a release on Game Pass for Xbox, and it supports mod as well as a PS5 version, I think. And some of the videos going around about some of the options that are available really enhance the graphics and frame rate for Skyrim on the new gens. So I'm kind of hoping that CDPR looks at what Bethesda's doing with their support and gives us console players an opportunity to have a store where we can go in and start downloading some of these mods, because it'd be nice to start pushing some of the power of these consoles before a next gen version is available.
Yeah, totally.
The first time I played mods was Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm. I've been a PC gamer for years and years and years. I've loved modding games from a very long time ago, and Logan actually has pulled out some PC mods that we're going to discuss in a little bit. So more talk about that coming up soon. Next news article: CD Projekt facing class action lawsuit over Cyberpunk 2077 release. We talked about this potentially coming last week. It looks like it actually has. The snippet of the article from Polygon.com says Rosen Law Firm said it filed the suit on behalf of investors that purchased securities like stock between the period of January 16th to December 17th, 2020. In the lawsuit, lawyers said CD Projekt made false and or misleading statements about Cyberpunk 2077, which was released on December 10th for all these different platforms. According to the suit, CD Projekt didn't disclose enough information that Cyberpunk was buggy and virtually unplayable on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Specifically, the statements called out in the lawsuit are regarding the company's claim that the game was complete and playable in January of 2020, despite the game being delayed to September. In one instance, during a conference call announcing a further delay, CD Projekt president and joint CEO Adam Kaczynski, I think is the way you pronounce his name, said Cyberpunk 2077 responded to worries concerning the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of the game. Kaczynski told investors there was no problem with the versions, just optimization to be done, lawyers said. So this has obviously been the big thing with the game being pulled from PlayStation 4 store and refunds going out. I know both of you guys have played this on console already. Do you find that it is virtually unplayable for you, or is this just something that some people are having a problem with?
For me, I actually am playing on PlayStation 4, and I'm still early game. Most of it was mostly the title screen. Is that what you guys were calling it last?
Yeah, it goes to the title screen. There's kind of the intro section is about the first 4 hours or so, and then you hit a title screen after about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, most of that, it's at least half of it title screen, but I have not had that many crashes. It's playable. It's like it's not stuttery. Like I'm not having problems with UI, any like the UI doing weird shit except for the regular weird stuff it does.
Yeah.
So it's not unplayable. I stopped playing on Xbox, so I don't know. I didn't continue playing. I just switched to PlayStation because my PlayStation actually came in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, got fixed.
Yeah,
that's good. Awesome. Yeah, I would have to say that, and I kind of want to dive into a little bit about the latest patch that came out, but after at patch 1.06, I would say that the game is stable enough that and bear in mind, this is a patch that came in the first 2 weeks of the game.
So 1.06, the most current patch, the one that came out on the 23rd.
Yeah. That patch stabilized the game enough for me on my 1X that while the game still has its bugs, still runs into problems, it is very much playable. I don't know, and I kind of talked about this last time. I don't know how far this lawsuit will go, because the longer it goes, and lawsuits tend to go on a long time, a lot of the issues that this lawsuit is addressing, sure, yeah, probably not the best look for CDPR to be claiming that the game is fine in its state. But by the time the lawsuit comes up, if you look at the game, it's going to be in a playable state. It already is, in my opinion. So, the bugs aside, I don't know how far this lawsuit's going to go. I think they have justification for bringing up a lawsuit. I don't know how valid the actual concerns in it are going to be the longer this gets drawn out. Sure.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. It's just unfortunate. The whole thing is unfortunate. I'm glad that the new patches have addressed a lot of this relatively quickly after launch, but it's never a fun thing to buy a game and be excited about it, especially as excited as people were about this game, and then find that you can't play it. And that's a huge bummer. And we've talked about that before. So let's move on to the patch 1.06. It's very short on the details. They didn't get into a whole lot of detail here. And I can sum this up very quickly. It's available for PC and consoles. Here's the list of details. This came out. This is the 27th. It's been 4 days now. Quests and one of our favorite characters, Dum Dum, will no longer go missing from Totentan's entrance during Second Conflict, which I believe is the early quest you go on where you meet Dum Dum, right? No. It's not?
No,
it's a later one?
It's a much later one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it's good because I got to that point after this patch came in, and just with my history of how many bugs I've run into this game, I'm glad that this got fixed before I got to that thing, because the quest line for that they're referring to is actually a good quest line. So I would have been pretty bummed out if it messed up, because if he goes missing, I don't know how you would have progressed through that story. So he's kind of a keystone in that quest line for that particular quest. So I'm glad that they got that fixed.
He's just like off on break or something. He's just off on his lunch break.
I thought he was dead.
He might be, actually, for some people. I've never killed him, so for me, Dum Dum's a good buddy of mine. He remembers me, and yeah.
I might have a very different experience when I get to that part, because I've been playing my second character I made, the one that doesn't look like me, the female V that I talked about before, and she doesn't take anything from anybody. She just kills everyone. So, well, not everyone, but when it came to those guys, yes, she killed them all. So next point on here, console specific, improved memory management and stability resulting in fewer crashes. This might be what is making the game run better for you guys. And then PC specific, removed the 8 GB save file size limit, which we talked about last week. Note, this won't fix save files corrupted before the update. So unfortunately, if you had a corrupted save file already, it's not going to fix it, but nobody else will run into this issue. And we talked about that last week. We said this shouldn't be too difficult of a fix, and here they are with the updates, and that's it.
That it got done. Yeah.
That's it. Some memory management and stability. We know that memory management is very crucial for games, especially when they run on consoles, because the memory on a console is very, very limited. It's not like a PC where, 8 GB used to be enough and it's not anymore. So now you just upgrade to 6 GB and your games work better. Or the memory on your system is leaking, meaning that it's not refreshing and clearing the memory the longer you play the game. It fills up all the memory reserve, and then the system has to rely on the hard drive for memory storage, and eventually everything slows down and the game crashes. Memory leaks are legitimate problems with software of all kinds. So this is a regular kind of bug that has to be squashed as you develop a game. So it may have been that kind of stuff. Again, we don't get any more specific details in this. Any other thoughts, Logan?
I think it's great that these have come in. Bear in mind, this came out on the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas for most folks in the world, and the fact that they were working this hard to get this stuff done before the holidays really speaks to how they wanted to try and make sure that anyone who is getting this game for Christmas is going to have a decent or a better experience. The proof in their commitment to making this game speaks volumes right now. I can't wait to find out kind of what's coming with the January patch. I'm hoping that they don't do something short like this, where it's just, 3 major bullet points. I hope that they have a huge list of things that they've kind of gotten into. And I'm very much willing to wait till the end of January for that patch.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be much bigger. So you have a list here of PC mods that you have kind of gone into. What have you discovered looking into the modding community? Because I've only looked a little bit into this so far.
I'm super jealous. That's what I've discovered.
We need to get you a PC upgrade.
Yeah, I know. It's going to have to be a whole system, but no. So one of the biggest things that we've talked about is cosmetics and your look, Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I found out is apparently the PC modding community feels the same way, because they've gone in and over on nexusmods.com, you can find a whole bunch of Cyberpunk ones, and I would definitely recommend you kind of vet the mods that you check out first. Look at the size and how many people are upvoting it, things like that. But the one that I thought was really awesome was this Arasaka appearance updater, where you can actually go in and change your facial features. If you, like me, we're going for a look, and the more you kept seeing it, the more you're like, nah, I don't like this look. I just wish I could change it, but you can't. There's no way to change. You can't look into a mirror and change your character's appearance in a game where they constantly talk about how you can change every part of your body through Chrome. And this allows you to kind of go through the sliders that are available. And what it does is it alters the actual save file for your game. And then once you actually get back into the game, your character will actually be changed based on that save file. So it's not changing the actual game itself. It's just applying these changes to the save file through a specific .exe file program that they've kind of made up. And it's not the only one. There are definitely a couple other mods out there that do similar things. So if this one doesn't really seem like it's that safe for you, then I definitely, be cautious about that kind of thing. But kind of going into some of the other ones, there are plenty that, if like me, you started to dive more into the crafting and upgrading aspect of the game, where you're looking to try and buff up some of the favorite weapons that you have, or some of the favorite armor. I've discovered a lot about the crafting system and the upgrade system and how that works now. And I'm kind of bummed that at the state that I'm in now, I have other areas that I want to dump points into, because I wish that crafting was a static progression system instead of something that you had to allocate points to. I wish that the more you crafted, the better your crafting could get, and it wasn't tied directly to, do you have attribute points into engineering? Because if you don't, you can't upgrade to a point where you can do some of the really cool crafting. And if I had just been crafting throughout, where, if they had actually gone through and done a tutorial and kind of explained crafting from the get-go, and I'd been doing it from the start, then chances are I'd be a really high level crafter, and I'd be able to do all these legendary items that I have now. And it would feel a lot more useful than I just figured it out. Now I have to go through and understand how all this works and go buy a bunch of components to be able to craft things instead of finding them naturally. But the mods that are available now, if you're into that, will definitely reduce. You can choose how fast you want stuff crafted. You can have it be instant if you want, and it can also automatically dismantle gear that you pick up, as opposed to having to go in and dismantle everything. Because if you've ever tried to sell anything or dismantle it or craft any large number of consumables, it's one at a time, and it is painstaking to have to do that. They really have to look at how they can ease or add some functionality to giving you options to craft multiple items at once or just as a batch and let it do its thing, but don't force someone to have to click the button every single time. So again,
sense.
that's over at nexusmods.com if you guys want to look into there. From what I've been able to tell, most of those are reputable and they've actually been referenced in articles. So it seems like they're pretty good for people to jump in and take a look at some of the options if you are on PC. And going back to what we talked about a little bit ago, I want to know if consoles are going to get this kind of support or not.
Yeah, this is something that took Bethesda a long time to start integrating into the games on console, even though they were easily implemented on PC. So I would have a feeling if it is, it's not one of the first things on their list to add in. Yeah, I would love them to take some notes from what the community is going to mods for as ways of upgrading the game and building stuff out themselves. And then eventually adding mod support would be awesome. That's usually the case, is that the devs will take note. Oh, people really want this in the game because obviously everyone's downloading that mod. That should be something that we could just do ourselves, and then they put it in. Or they hire the person who did the mod and they come make it official. That lots of modders have gotten jobs in the game industry that way. I have up here, Nexus Mods is a great site. If you guys have never been to it, nexusmods.com. It's a wonderful site. If you go to the Cyberpunk 2077 section, you can, of course, sort by popular or what's trending this week or whatever. If you sort by popular all time, these are some of the mods. It's kind of funny to me because many of them have cyber at the beginning of the name. Cyber engine tweaks, which, of course, fixes performance and bug stuff. Who knows? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but you can give it a try. Better vehicle handling. Some people don't like the way the vehicles handle. Try that one. Cyber console. If you want to pop up the console in order to type in changes to the engine, then that allows you. Cyberpunk autonomous reshader. True HDR. This is another thing you'll find in a lot of these mods, is things that change the shading and the way the game world looks using reshaders on PC. Underwear remover for somebody who just really needs to be naked.
Can't we do that already?
Yeah, I guess. So, but now you can do it
intentional.
It removes the never nude underwear from the player. I guess this allows you to, if you started a game that didn't allow nudity, to put nudity back in. I don't know. E to interact, V to walk and drive. It basically remaps your buttons. Console item list, AVX fix. Fix the instructions check. I mean, there's a bunch of other trainers, config overhaul. There's all sorts of stuff. And then the Arasaka appearance updater is actually one of the top most popular ones. It's probably like 10th on this list. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Go check out the mods. All sorts of fun things there. Anything else you want to discuss before we move on, Lincoln? Logan. Lincoln was on my other show that I did yesterday.
It's like
Logan, Lincoln.
He's missing his hat.
Right, and you just still pop it. The one thing that I did want to warn people about is if you're playing on Xbox Live, I on my Series X I have it set so that all my screenshots get automatically uploaded to Xbox Live. I actually received a takedown notice for one of my screenshots this morning, and I had to do some research to figure out what it was. And I think I figured out what it was, but I am very confused as to why I can't take screenshots of things in game for a game that I bought, but I would just be cautious for anyone if you're uploading images of anything. This was one where I was in one of the sex shops, and I took a photo of a guy who was in there, just a random customer, and he had the goofiest face on him, and I was just like, this is too funny. I got to send it to my friend. So I grabbed the screenshot of it, and Xbox actually flagged it as inappropriate and then took it down. And I don't know why. Was there
something in the background, like a picture on the wall, or?
It was just so full disclosure, it was a picture of this guy standing in front of a couple dildos on a table. And
right.
Yeah,
he just had this look like he's like, that's so big. And I thought that's hilarious. He's a big dude. It's a big thing. And I was just like, that's great. So I snapped it and then I got flagged. And I think it's because it has like flesh tone and it looks more real than it really ought to. considering all the other ones. So I think it falls under the nudity category. But at the same time, I'm like, there's plenty of nudity that you can have in this game, and people are streaming this. So if Twitch didn't have a problem with it, then why did Xbox Live? Like, was it in? And it's not something that's open for discussion. Like, I can't message Xbox support and be like, hey, how come you guys flagged this thing? Like, it's hurting my account reputation. Like, it's in the game. It's not like I went to a website or something on my Xbox and uploaded a bunch of stuff. It's like, this is legit part of the game. Yeah, it shouldn't be flagging that. So just a warning to people: be careful of what you upload to Xbox Live. It doesn't seem to care if it's on your console or on your PC, but just a weird thing that I really was kind of annoyed by this morning.
I wonder if there's some sort of like automated AI that saw something and it went, oh, that is a male body part,
that shape, that color.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it was probably a bot that just is skimming through all the content that's uploaded to Xbox Live.
Thousands of screenshots.
Yeah, I just hate the fact that it's like, this is a game I purchased legally. I am paying for it through from a console that was purchased specifically for this game, and you were literally flagging me for the game.
That's so
funny. I can't talk to anyone about it. So I just wanted to warn anyone, be cautious of what's going on, because the systems don't take into consideration the type of game you're playing, which makes me wonder about all these other games that I haven't played that have that kind of content in it.
Yeah. So whoever you are out there listening right now, whatever you do, do not take a screenshot of a dildo in Cyberpunk 2077 and tweet it to @Xbox on Twitter right now. Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't
you don't need to
show them.
Also, some videos of if you have a certain weapon in Cyberpunk, you can't have any videos with that weapon in it.
I've also noticed that you can't in photo mode. There's certain ads that can't be rendered in photo mode, and kids don't render in photo mode, because I've seen some pretty cool looking kids. And I go to take a photo of me, and you can't. It does not render it. And I've tested it. I've taken screenshots of just the actual UI, and they're in the UI when I'm not in photo mode. But when you're in photo mode, it takes the kids out.
That's probably smart. It's probably smart, so that you can't do bad things to kids in the photos. You can't make it look like you're shooting a kid in the head, even if you weren't, because you can put yourself in positions, right? People will always figure out a way to position things in photo mode that didn't actually happen in the game to make it look like something else. Yeah,
that's fair.
So it's probably even just covering their butts. It's like the reason why you can't kill children in Skyrim. They're because that is an absolute no-no. You can kill adults, maybe they're terrible people, whatever, it's part of the game, but whatever you do, don't ever hurt children. Like, that's,
I thought it because they were immortal monsters.
Because they're immortal monsters. That's right. Children are immortal monsters. That's why you can't lay your fingers on them.
What you're saying is that all the kids in Cyberpunk are actually daywalker vampires who do not show up in photos.
Yes.
Or they're all relics. They're part of the relic in your head. They're not actually there.
They're not actually there. Yeah. There are no more children in Night City. It's people just can't have kids anymore. This is now Children of Men, whatever that movie was. So yeah, interesting.
Beautiful.
Interesting stuff. So yeah, definitely do not send screenshots to, let's see who their actual account is.
I think it's @Xbox support.
Definitely do not, in bulk, everyone who listens to this podcast, do not send a screenshot of a dildo in Cyberpunk 2077 to @Xbox support. Don't do that.
Don't flag my Xbox Live.
Don't use that hashtag. Don't attach that picture, and definitely do not send it to @Xbox support. All right, let's move on to the middle of the show. Angel Taco says, but can I @ PlayStation? Yes. No, you cannot @ them either. Do not @ either of those things. Thank you to all of our patrons who help support this show every week. And Kaither, you are one of them. Thank you for being here, buddy. And everyone else who is a patron of the show who isn't an upgraded patron in order to join us on the episode, thank you for supporting the show as well. You guys are amazing. This show has been around for a good bit of this 2020 year and has continued to grow. We hit, I believe, Logan, we hit something like 12th highest gaming podcast on Apple Podcasts.
I thought we went up to 6.
Was it
Didn't
6?
We go up to 6?
I'm going to look it up.
6 was our highest.
Maybe it was 6 got to the highest. Yeah, I'm going to have to look this up again. But it's because of you guys. You guys are phenomenal. Like that is amazing. Like think about all of the popular podcasts out there about video games, and this show is now among those ranks. Now, of course, some of you guys are going to move on to other games. You'll stop listening to Cyberpunk, but a lot of you, I hope, will stick around because there's a whole lot of stuff we still need to cover. More lore, more discussion about the game stuff, more updates for things as they come out for this game, mods, and all sorts of stuff to go over. So for right now, I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to say thank you to every one of our current patrons because you guys are phenomenal. I may or may not have missed your names at some point. So here's the opportunity. Shamino, Nicholas M, Jonathan S, Herbert S, Mickey O.D, Heather A, Remington C, Zectro, Captain H, Ricky N, Jesse R, Josh S, Frederick T, Kaither, Slade S, and Coffeeberry. Thank you to all of you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting the show. Yeah, this next year is going to be awesome because we're going to have more lore about stuff. And I want to know, we've been doing a lot of gameplay and news episodes lately, but I want to know what things you want to know more about, because now that you've had the opportunity to play the game and be in the world, there's a lot more insight into some of the things going on that we can draw, because we can now make connections from 2020 through to Cyberpunk Red through to 2077. So if there's some topics that you think we should definitely dig into, please feel free to contact us either on Twitter at Cyberpunk Lore or on the Discord, and we'll just say, hey, I want to know more about this thing. And that'll probably make it into our list at some point, and we'll cover that stuff in the future. So again, thank you to all of our patrons. You guys are freaking amazing. So, Kaither, you are our special guest today. You've played, we're talking in the pre-show a bit, you've played 40 some hours of this game so far, but for the most part, you've kind of stuck to the opening section of the story and then done a lot of side quests. How have you been tackling the game?
I did think up to right before the heist. And I didn't. I've been avoiding Discord and other things just because I didn't want any spoilers. So I'm like, I didn't know what side missions. I knew some side missions. I don't they disappear if you go further in the story and you can't complete them, right?
No.
Does that happen?
No, you should be safe to do anything up to the end of the game, where it'll actually tell you before you start that main story mission, like, hey, this is the point of no return. If you want to do any of the side gigs or side missions, go do those before you continue on here. Up until that point, everything's available to you regardless of where you're at in the story.
Yeah, so I was actually worried about that, so I just decided, like, before I finished the heist, I went around and I finished almost all the things I could in Watson. Nice. So that's mostly blank right now. And then I finished the heist, and then, as everyone knows how the heist ends, I don't want to say it in case anyone's not there, but it does not end well for us.
Yes, it doesn't end well, for sure.
No, not at all. So got out of that. And then I think the first I've gone out is to do the hero mission. I don't remember the correct name for it, but it involves what happens at the end of the heist.
Okay. So
and you get a certain motorcycle.
So to follow up on our thing, I just pulled up the stats. For the entire month of December, we were in the top 36th place top video game podcasts in Apple Podcasts with the highest rank of 6. You're right. We got all the way up to 6 for for 2 weeks in a row.
Heck yeah.
We were at sixth place, sixth most popular video game podcast in the world for 2 weeks. But for the whole month, we've stayed on average above 20. So that's phenomenal. You guys are amazing. So sorry, Kaither, just had to pat ourselves on the back a little bit for that one. So how do you find the game so far? Like what kind of path did you start on? What's your life path? What's your character build? How are you going with that?
First I did Street Kid because I just wanted to play it and see how it went. And there's no problem with the background. I just didn't like it. I didn't fit like how I wanted to play the character I wanted to play first. Uh-huh. So then I did Nomad, and I ended up going to Corpo because I like that Corpo. Little spoilers, had your character has like such a big background. Backstory with Jackie. Like you've known him since you were kids. Like you didn't just meet him all of a sudden after 6 months you're best buds. Like you've known each other for a while, and Jackie's there when you're at your lowest. He's there for you. Right.
True. Yeah, I
think makes it more impactful when you know what happens.
Yeah, I did find that connection from the Corpo side pretty endearing for Jackie, for sure. Whereas as a Nomad, you just kind of meet him on your first mission, and then it just goes from there.
I do have a Nomad character. I just haven't got that far into it. I think I only have like 3 minutes maybe in it. That's because I'm playing it with my brother, and it's a goody-goody two-shoe character.
Oh, nice. Nice. I love doing weird character role plays where you're very limited by your decisions based on the kind of person you are.
I'm not going to use any fast travel, and I'm kind of maybe thinking he can't drive a car.
So you're going to have to run everywhere?
Really?
Well, no, a motorcycle will be fine because it's kind of like riding a bicycle. I kind of did that.
Okay.
If they had bicycles, I'd probably make him ride a bicycle, but I'm going to make it so he can't drive a car because I can't drive a car because of vision issues and stuff. So he's going to do that, but he's going to be like a goody-goody two-shoes that can't be anything that's mean. So
that's really cool.
That's going to be tough.
For the heist, it's like I can't kill anyone. I can only
incapacitate them. Yeah.
All my weapons have to have the no kill thing on it.
That's a really interesting. I'm interested to see how this comes out. We'll have to talk about. We'll have to follow up with this next month, and you'll have to tell us how, if this is something sustainable, or if this has been very, very difficult for you.
It's gonna be. It is very. It's because some of the fixers get mad at you. It's like for this one you get this female. I think she's a tiger. She's in She's like in a. She's in one of the areas, but you have to go kidnap her, and just like she gets mad at you a little bit, not really mad, but she's disappointed that you didn't kill her. It's like, why don't you put the rat problem down? Because she calls the character a rat.
The fixer lady. What's her name? The
cop, the one that's a cop that used to be a reporter.
Oh my God, I'm totally blanking on her name.
Media.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Joan. So I'll pull it up and Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I don't recognize who you're talking about.
Open. Let me call.
This is the problem with these games that are so big, is that there's just so much to it, and you may not have done that part of it. What's her name?
Regina Jones. Is that her?
Jones. Yep, that's her.
Yeah. Where's? Yep, Regina Jones.
She is everywhere, man. Every time I do something, I feel like she's like behind it.
Yeah. So
what zone is she in?
Yes. Watson. She's Watson.
She's in Watson. Yeah, I moved out of Watson. That's why I haven't run into her as much. I didn't do a whole bunch of stuff in Watson.
She does do all the cyber psycho stuff. So
yeah,
anytime you come across like another cyber psycho to
that will make cyber psychos easier though. The goody good two-shoe ones, having all the, because I accidentally killed my first cyber psycho I ran into because I didn't realize I killed him accidentally.
Yeah,
I need to go do more of that stuff. I haven't done that part of any of it yet. So cyber psychos, and
I'll be honest, I don't know if you can do it without killing them, because I
have this weapon now which is not PG-13. It's like the Philhard or whatever one you get from Meredith. I have that one. It's not my strongest melee weapon, so it's like I just ended up using it. But if you're like a blunt weapon, you just hit them. You can just knock them out. Or if you have a smart weapon with, I don't know if it's the eye mod or even the mod on the weapon that makes it shoot the arms and the legs. Like if you get Skippy, you can.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
Skippy.
Yeah,
can
good
get
old
that way. But
Skippy.
the first one I had, I accidentally killed him with my monowire accidentally because I didn't wasn't paying attention. I accidentally hit him and cut off their head.
Yeah, Courier in chat says, I just punch him. Just punch him until you knock him out.
Yeah, punching works too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
I'll have to check that out then.
Speaking about vehicles, you brought up this idea of not using cars, but using motorcycles. I prefer...
Well, at least on that account.
I prefer motorcycles. Just getting around the city. Do you guys prefer motorcycles? Or am I...
They are so much funner because you can just go through the traffic, and they're a lot funner when you crash, though, because you get launched.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a car load in on me once, and I just got launched, and it looked like I was sliding through the sky until I hit a sign.
Mm-hmm. And you bounce off things when your wheels hit them. So if you go flying through the air and then your front wheel hits it, sometimes you'll like, like off of it.
Yeah, I've definitely run into the situation where like it feels like motorcycles are a lot better at driving and handling. Like I could make really sharp turns much easier with a motorcycle as opposed to any of the Quadras. The Quadra 66s feel so slippery compared to like the hypercars or some of the trucks and stuff. But I tend to prefer the motorcycles just for weaving in and out of traffic because they get stuck. They get stuck and you can't do anything. So you have to like drive over them or drive around them or hope that you don't hit anyone on the street or in the sidewalk. It's tough.
And then automatically get cops coming after you.
Yeah. Don't get me started on those.
Right. So what kind of character build is your main? You this other character you're thinking like not
my main, which has
non-lethal.
like the 40 hours in it, because that is a corpo who I've actually made look like a demon just because I wanted her to be like an icy, the B word, the podcast. Nice.
No, you can say it. You can say bitch. That's fine.
An icy bitch. I wanted her to be like that. So unless you were like, the only person she was nice to is literally Jackie's mom, like her friends. Everyone else, it's just like,
she's just
no
cold.
emotions. It's just cool, calm, and collected because she used to be a corpo right now. And with what happened with Jackie and with Johnny, I haven't decided if I'm going to make her change now because Johnny's in her head now, so maybe she start acting a little Johnny-ish. But with that, like she has the black eyes and like the little chin tattoo.
So she looks like a demon, like legit, like a supernatural like TV show demon with just the black eyes.
Yeah, demon. Yeah. So
Cool.
I think my level is still low, but my street kit is super high. But I think I have an 8 in body and stuff, so I can just force some doors open, like demonic strength. And then I did quick hacking, so it looks like she has like supernatural, like she can set you on fire.
That makes sense.
Snap your mind. Make you. I have the contagion one, so she can make you sick like the plague.
Yeah, she's like a cyber demon.
Yeah,
that's a really cool idea.
And I put a little bit. I have cool. I think is 6. I can't remember what cool is. My lowest one is reflex at 5.
Okay. Okay.
Because I wasn't really using handguns. It's using more like shotguns and the fist, like the mono wire. So it's like a whip.
Right. Right.
And then I have crafting so I can, so I can make grenades and stuff. So she could throw fireballs, like explosions.
Interesting.
But that's mostly cool. It's mostly in tech and body right now.
Got it. So
interesting.
How do you feel about the characters and the story? I mean, you haven't gone through a ton of it, but you've been through like the intro section. What's your feeling about the way they've done the characters and the story?
A lot of the characters look so amazing compared to what your character looks like sometimes.
Right? Are you talking about the clothes, the weird outfits you have to put on in order just to get the high
clothes
armor
and
stats?
Some of the way just their bodies look like how some of them have metal arms. Like I stood in Moxie, not looking at them because they're pretty women, but just like they have neo pink and blue arms, and like you just sit in the street and watch the characters go by. Like I'll just look at the gang members, just watch them for like a couple seconds, stalker like, and just like, I wish I could like choose my character to have like maybe like a robotic arm.
Yep.
Like you can get like a kind of like hologram of Johnny's arm over yours, so like a mission or something like that. I heard.
Got it. Yeah.
I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Can I throw a quick 15-second spoiler for folks just as a heads up?
Spoiler. Skip ahead 15 seconds if you don't want spoilers.
If you get that arm, it's after a quest line, and you equip it, you cannot take it off. Just a heads up.
It's permanent.
Cautious.
Oh,
it's permanent.
Ooh.
So keep that in mind, because it will look like that forever.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense to have that in the game, but at the same time, it's like, Johnny, why? There's something internally about looking identical to somebody else that is just a turnoff to me. But I guess if you feel like your character is transforming more and more into Johnny as, you know, he takes over your brain, then yeah, it would make sense to make you look more like him, I guess.
If you could go back technically, because I don't know if that's in Cyberpunk. Like, if you lose a robotic arm, you really can't really go back
Can you attach a human arm back instead?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. There are... they do have some advanced medical stuff. We've talked about this a little bit, but the idea of replacing an entire arm back, I mean, you'd have to get it from a donor unless you froze your previous arm somewhere.
Yeah.
Can you grow it?
It feels like a lot of they do have synth meat.
Yeah.
But I do think that the way, just based on the characters that I've interacted with in the game, it feels like the idea is once you go Chrome, you can't go back. And that's why a lot of people are very, very hesitant to go Chrome, or to stay as organic and not have to worry about the monks. But there's also a couple other characters that I've run into that are very adverse to getting any kind of Chrome done, and it's a very personal decision to them. And I think it's because they feel like once they get implants, you can't remove those implants. So I feel like if you did lose your arm, you'd probably be stuck with a robot one forever.
Yeah, probably. So Thanatoasted is talking about the window glass glitch. I guess it throws you back through a window like 100, 200 meters. I haven't heard about this. I haven't come across this before. Ooh. But I guess they're saying that there's a bunch of videos up on YouTube. I have to look that up. I haven't seen that glitch. Speaking of glitches,
I've run into a lot of glitches.
Yeah, what's the strangest thing you've seen? Because it's always kind of fun to talk about like weird crap you come across.
The strangest one I've seen so far is, I don't really have seen a lot of strange one. Like sometimes I was actually a cyber psycho in a warehouse. For some reason, she could glitch through the windows if they were open. Like it just didn't do the animation of jumping through the window. If the window was open, it became a door for her. So I jumped out the window to get away from her because I'm like, she's too high of a level. I'm gonna run, or maybe cheese, or like just run because I'm gonna die, or maybe cheese her and she'll come to the window. I can just throw a grenade through the window and maybe get her that way. Just chuck a ton of grenades in there. While I run away. But she just jumped through the window and I'm like, oh, and just killed me. So that's the weirdest glitch. She just came through the window with the two mantis blades and
just right through the window. Just like walked through.
Yeah, just
like
walked through.
A ghost.
Well, no, that little stutter step they do sometimes.
The cyber run.
Yeah, the cyber run.
Yeah.
The augments.
Where she just appears in front of me and slices me.
That is pretty cool because it is kind of ghost-like. It is kind of like
watching them jump around. It's cool, but man, I hate dealing with it.
Yeah.
There's also another creepy glitch. I don't remember if someone on Discord was talking about it, but there was this like satanic ritual, like side mission with another psycho.
Yep.
And like they were complaining about it working. Mine worked, but afterwards the creepy music would not stop playing. I was literally walking around for like a good 30 minutes like, why won't this music stop? Like I was wondering if I didn't finish the mission. I'm like, and I was worried this thing would come back now, like I'm haunted because I did that story mission. Like, do I have another Johnny in my head now?
I know what you're talking about. I had that same one.
That's awesome. One of the
I really had to reload my game.
One of the silliest glitches I had, I was talking to Rogue. It was one of those situations. This isn't too spoilery. Of course, we all know Rogue is in the game. You can go talk to her. And she has this muscle guy like standing in front of the little alcove she's sitting in. And the first time you go talk to him, he tries to stop you. And then she looks around him and says, no, it's okay, let him in. And then you go in and you talk to her. The second time I went and talked to her, I must have triggered the talk animation with her before actually talking with him. So he didn't get out of the way. So I had to jump and try to like climb over him. And of course, like the situation's weird because like in real life, that would be super awkward. It's like, she's like, yeah, come on back again. He doesn't move. So I'm like, yeah, excuse me, pardon me. And I'm like trying to figure out like, how do I, and there's like one little area you can kind of jump over and get around. And then when I had to leave, I had this whole conversation, very intense conversation. And then she's like, all right, get out of here or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then the guy doesn't move again. I have to like,
if that was real life, just her having to watch you jump around her dudes.
Like, excuse me, can I, hello? And he just wouldn't respond.
And you can't kill him.
Yeah.
It's a safe zone. You'd be stuck there forever if you couldn't get out. It would ruin the game.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to go back to a previous save and then redo it. Yeah.
The only thing that's really been weird for me, and I've had a lot of glitches, but I can't think of anyone that's too funny. But it is crazy when you go into a camp as a net runner and you use like contagion and it just starts making everyone retch. It always makes me think of that story from Goonies whenever Chunk is like being interrogated with the blender and his hand getting stuck in there and they've got the tomatoes and he's like, and this one time I had a whole bunch of fake puke and I went over the ledge and I started making this sound like and I dunked it all on them and they thought it was real and they started puking in a whole theater. And so I'm like watching all these people like barreled over retching with this contagion and they die to the point where they just lock up in animation. Or if I do like a short circuit, like you shoot them with a short circuit and it just like it fries their brain and they just stand there completely frozen. You're like, you can tell that they died because you see the little icon for their stuff drop, but they're just frozen there forever. And I'm just like, that is so weird. And
when they just tip over after that and they're still stuck in the animation. So it's like,
it's so funny. Some of the weird glitches that you'll see.
Yeah.
I've actually had to start a mission over because I had someone short circuited and it was like a sniper and he fell over in between two things that I could not get to and kill him. So he's stuck alive and you just see his red outline of him still alive and me not being able to get to kill him.
Yeah, the glitches are weird.
So I couldn't get a line of sight to be able to kill him with hacks and stuff.
So what weapons have you enjoyed the most?
I was just going to go into that.
Yeah, I want to talk weapons some more. What weapons? I know Logan's been hacking everybody to death.
That's the same thing. I've been hacking a lot, but if I have to, I've been using smart weapons and stuff. I'm trying to get right now Mr. Skippy. I'm trying to make it so he permanently switches over to kill. So I don't have to. It just headshot everyone because a lot of the smart weapons when I'm having them. With the mod that makes it so they hit the limbs, I miss a lot more than I hit. Really? Because it'll like all my bullets seem like they go around them, and I'm wondering if I haven't tried it yet, but I'm probably able to do it tomorrow. If you took that off, if it just automatically hit him, maybe it would hit him sick because it's like trying not to kill them is what the problem is. Right. I also think that like if they're behind cover and you're trying to hit them in an arm or a leg, it's more likely that the bullet will hit cover as it tries to go around it. Whereas if it's targeting their head, what I tend to do with Skippy is I'll shoot up. So it goes up and then it comes straight down on their head. So there's no chance that it'll really hit the cover because usually their head is kind of in line with the cover. So so that's why I'm trying to get Skippy to be permanent kill by even going back and killing them again afterwards with the gun. Because then it'll switch back over and be stuck on Hardcore Killer, is that what it's called? Yeah, it's something like that. Stone Cold Killer. Stone Cold Killer. It's a puppy loving fool. Puppy loving fool.
The modes are great. Oh my god, I love Skippy.
My favorite Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say the Skippy, the idol song that he does, the little humming that he does. Bum bida, bum bum bida.
Yep. But with monotone though.
Bum bum.
I wouldn't mind having that as background music.
Yeah, he's just like bum bum. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good.
My favorite melee weapon right now that I have on my character is the phallic looking one that would probably get banned off if you took a Photoshop mode for. Yeah. Just because it's so much more powerful than my other ones, and I needed a weapon that I could incapacitate people with if I needed to, like my cyber things. and then also the mono wire.
The mono wire.
The mono wire I have right now, I put a mod on it, which actually makes it someone sick, poison,
right?
Damage and stuff on it. I just wish that you could do the hacking thing from like you guys brought up last time. Where like it's not in it anymore from the trailers. We could whip it out and hack someone.
The original concept art the concept video that they had, where it was like you could actually use it to hack people directly.
Yeah,
I miss. There's
my
a few
current
things.
loadout is like the fill staff, the mono wire, the Nekomora. Is that what it's called?
Nekomora.
The powers, the tech sniper rifle.
Nekomata.
Yeah, Nekomata. Just so like you just gotta highlight a group, and you can be like on the literally a street over, and just shoot through all the buildings. And
that's
if you shoot them in the legs, you can sometimes incapacitate them. And then I either have a smart shotgun or a double-barreled shotgun.
Nice.
That's only in case I screw up, and then the whole group comes after me. Usually, I'll stick with hacking and my Skippy.
Skippy. Yeah, I've gone Skippy,
so
a sniper rifle, and a katana, and I will try to use the katana as much as possible because lopping their limbs and heads off is just too much fun.
You can do that with the mono wire, especially if you get the legendary one in Watson.
Yeah, I got the arms, the gorilla arms. So, but I might want to. I
haven't found any gorilla arms yet, and I have a ton of money now, so maybe I should go buy some.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. They say you can open locked doors and stuff, but it doesn't really help, or it doesn't seem to really help.
No.
But I might go with something else instead of that.
But for the fighting side missions, the gorilla arms would come in handy though.
I'm curious about that because I tried. I went with Mantis Blades for a while, and I went to do a fight, and that fight was so much harder when I didn't have my gorilla arms. But I don't know if it was because of the difficulty. Because for right now, I'm so high that every fight says low level of like danger. And I really don't know how hard those is, but I honestly am kind of annoyed that the fights are so big as far as like the different gigs that you can do, because I honestly don't have that much fun doing the fights. I enjoyed the racing more than anything, but like I feel like I have to. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good story too. So look forward to that because it'll definitely be interesting.
I was considering
to kind of see how you feel about it.
I was considering jumping into that, but I've been forwarding the main quest. So I keep going back and forth between I should really get through the whole main quest because we're going to have to talk about it at some point, and I'm sure there's lore implications because we do the podcast. And yeah, but these side things seem a lot of fun. I want to go do this thing. And sometimes I'll sit down to do more of the main quest. Sometimes I sit down and do more of the side stuff. And I just haven't stuck to one or the other, which I guess it's a good mix, I guess. I don't know.
No, I think that's honestly, if I could recommend to anyone, I would say that Kaither, your playthrough is probably the best if you want to get the most out of your game. Because I am, let's see, how many hours am I in right now?
The Goody Good Two Shoe ones or the demon one?
The demon one, where you're clearing out in a whole area. That's what you're talking about, Logan?
Yeah. Like going through the different levels, because one of the things that I've noticed, I am now 100 hours into the game in 34 minutes or 34 seconds. I would definitely say, like, if you take your time in each zone and work on the gigs and the side quests and stuff, a lot of those gigs give you a lot of components to break down, but it also rewards you with a lot of gold or eddies. And also,
I have over 200,000 something eddies right now.
It'll go quick. There's a lot of cars to buy. I've bought in almost all the cars right now that I can get to and stuff. Yeah, but it's just because I since I'm walking around, I'm not like I wasn't driving in the first high section since I was only stuck in Watson. I was walking around, and anytime I'd see anyone that I could turn in for a bounty, like just to make some cash, I'd do it, and I'd just go scrap the cars. So my street cred is almost 50 actually. Yeah. And I'm only level 18. Nice. Yeah, I would recommend, because the street cred actually opens up what's available for you to buy. So I would recommend playing through the zone, doing the side quests, because a lot of those side quests provide shards that are actual experience gains for specific things. No, not the lore, just straight up experience for like crafting or assault or brawler.
The blueprints, and stuff. Yeah.
Not even the blueprints. These are just straight experience boosts that you can get from some of those. So like it's not something that will give you something to craft. It's not a piece of lore or anything like that. It is just a straight up, here's a chunk of experience for a specific type of attribute. So if you guys are playing through it and you're taking your time with the story, that's honestly one of the best things I can recommend.
It also helps you upgrade, keep your stats right up to like whatever level your actual attribute is too, because all of them are right up to, like, all my reflex stuff is level 5, all my body is level 8, all my quick hacks are level 9, I think.
If you're focusing on an attribute too, and you're capped on the experience for the perk point, definitely drop a point into the attribute to give you that ability, because the more you do with it capped, the more experience you'll end up losing, just because you end up wasting all that stuff. You'll have to run around and do like emergent crime things to be able to up that stuff.
I'll have to go back and do that then real quick when I get play tomorrow then, because a lot of them all stuck at practically about to reach the cap of it then. Yeah. And I got a couple spare points.
Yeah, that's the other thing is I've noticed too, like holding on to a couple spare points when working on story stuff will help if you see a dialogue option that is like 1 point away, or a room that's 1 point away in like body or reflex or tech, where you know, like you might have to drop an extra point in there if you want to try out that specific dialogue choice. I
did that with the Edith, the girl that hires you for the heist. I did that with her for reflex, because at the beginning my reflex was only 4, and I'm like, oh, I'm 1 away, so I just did it real quick and unlocked that option.
I've generally kept about 1 or 2 points in store just for being able to do something that I'm just a little bit away from being able to do.
And I will also say too, if you're running low on perk points and you want to pump some more into something that you're actually doing, grab a melee weapon or grab your fists or something that you aren't doing naturally in your playthrough, and start working on those, because those will level up pretty quickly at the low levels, and they'll award perk points as far as I can tell. So you can then use those perk points wherever you want. So it's kind of, if you go pay attention to some of the other stuff, like start using a shotgun or a sniper rifle for a little bit,
or crafting if you haven't been crafting, or hacking if you haven't been hacking, or any of that stuff.
If you, I found a good way to get your crafting or whatever one is for it up is the first perk I actually got was automatically dismantle junk. Because you could just be picking stuff up and you get experience every time it automatically dismantles something. You'll get experience for it then. That way.
That's cool. I didn't notice the experience, but yeah, it's nice that it just kind of
you get like 14 at least. At least I got 14 the last time I saw it.
That's cool.
I will say that I haven't picked up that quest because I tend to pick up a lot of junk, and sometimes some of that stuff is actually worth a fair amount of eddies. So I've been holding on to it and just dismantling it later if it's not something that's worth a whole lot. So, but everyone's play style is going to vary a little bit. Everyone has, however you want to play, what's easier for you. If it saves you more time than having to go and try and filter through all that stuff to dismantle it, then that's what's best for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be what I'm playing through.
Yeah, I don't min max my income. I don't care to take the time to look through stuff, so I'm just like, just scrap it all. But it means I'm going to miss out on some money, but it allows me to focus on the things in the game that I'd rather be focusing on than
another way to get money components is to be on the lookout for those radio antennas. Well, not radio, but they remind me of radio antennas from back in the day, like that were on top of RVs and stuff. Just go up, look for those, and just hack them. Because you get if you get all 3 of them, you get Earl dollars, components, and stuff.
The component, it's funny too, because as soon as I got the legendary crafting, and this was a weird thing. So if you're a Netrunner, the best thing I can recommend is try and get as many points into your intelligence as you can, because the sooner you can get to the point where you can craft legendaries, all of those access points that you've been like hacking to get all the components. Once you get the a good cyber deck, you can unlock the legendary hacks, and those legendary hacks do so much damage. My short circuit right now does like 10k damage for non-crit. And it's almost enough to just zero out anyone. Jeez. So
I've actually stopped using short circuit because it wasn't doing enough damage. I went to Synapsis, I think.
Yeah, Synapsis is a good one. I honestly, I usually like to drop a contagion on everyone, and then use short circuit as a way to finish people off, because it deals more damage based on the amount of damage or the amount of health missing.
So you make them all puke and then you shock them. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you ever have a problem? Well, I make them puke and then I make them burn. So I think that may be a little bit. But do you ever have a problem not having enough breach time? Because I don't, and I was just wondering why, if at all. Because I get because the breach you do to make everything lower rams.
Mm-hmm. I haven't run into a problem with breach time in a long time, but I'm also at like 73 or 78 seconds worth of breach time.
I only have 20, and I'm getting everything done, and I have like 15 seconds left.
Yeah, well, the benefit is that when you go to a breach, it doesn't start the timer. And if it started the timer right when you got into the actual breach, that would be a problem. But it doesn't start until. So I almost always I'll try to map out as much as I possibly can before I even touch it. And then once I touch it, I can usually get it in 15 seconds or so, and it's good. But I love that mini game. It's so good, man.
It's a good brain teaser too.
Mm-hmm. It's like Sudoku, but like a quicker form for me. I don't know why I like it so much. Tom, you need to do a Netrunner build.
I don't have very much experience with this stuff other than just every so often just hacking somebody at like the very base level. My God. Yeah, that'll have to be a future playthrough for me. I'm just having too much fun zipping between people, dodging bullets and chopping their limbs off, just getting in their faces. I mean, this is a very in your face build. And then if somebody's in the distance and I need to snipe them, I snipe them. Or if they're up on a platform, it's hard for me to get them. I'll just pull out Skippy and just boop, 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 drop them, off the platform. I
can't blame you for that.
It's fun. Like that's, and what's so interesting about this is most of the time in these open world RPG type games, when you have the option of going stealthy or aggressive melee or whatever, or magic, I'm almost always go stealthy. I'm always the stealthy sniper, and hacking is kind of the equivalent of that. You just hack somebody at a distance. It's just like sniping them, except you didn't have to snipe. Yeah. You didn't even have to shoot the gun. But yeah, for this, I totally went the other direction and I've been loving it. So I also did some experimenting with different kinds of bladed weapons. I noticed that I fought a specific boss type character in a quest that I'm not going to spoil, who is a very strong melee fight and can zip around like we're talking about, has mantis blades, and tried to take them down with a knife because my knife damage was almost double that of my strongest katana I had on me. And the knife, because it's such a short weapon, it was a lot harder to land hits. So even though every hit did more damage, because the character I was fighting was so fast and would block and stuff, it was harder for me to get an initial hit in, to get like a string of hits or get like a heavy attack in. And then I was like, okay, I'll switch back. And I switched back to my katana, which did almost half the amount of damage, half the DPS. And chewed through the dude, like, because of the range of the katana, because I could hit him even when he was a little bit away from me. And once I got a hit in, I could do like a string of them. I could block a hit, come back with another attack, dodge to the side, get some hits in, even though I was at a distance. It just worked so much better for me.
Can I make a quick suggestion for you?
Sure.
There is I'm trying to find it right now. There is actually a hack that you should invest in called cyberware malfunction. It will disable that speed It'll stun them, and it'll actually turn off their ability to use any kind of cyberware, whether it's a Netrunner or whether it's just cyber leg augments where they can go fast. It shuts them down and stuns them. So it's actually, if you're coming up across that, it'll make those fights so much easier, not to have to deal with them hopping around all over the place. Yeah, I kind of enjoy it though. I kind of enjoy the struggle of like, all right, mano a mano, you and me.
You're further on in the game. Can you actually get a cyber hack that actually sets off a grenade, or is that just in the tutorial? Yeah. Okay.
No, you can. I haven't
been able to find it, so I was looking for it.
There's detonate grenade. There's a weapon malfunction. There's an optical reboot, which it'll blind them. There's memory wipe.
I have both those second two. Yeah, the optical and weapon. I have those.
Memory wipe will clear off aggro. There's one where you can actually hack a person to actually it's like calling in backup, and it makes one of the enemies. Yeah, it makes one of the enemies friendly. There's cyber psychosis where it actually makes them go insane, and then if there's no enemies involved or enemies around them and they haven't seen you, they'll off themselves. Yeah, there's a bunch. In fact, I love doing a cyber psychosis where it'll actually cause all of the people in a room to go towards that cyber psycho. And then I drop a contagion on one of them or on the cyber psycho. It spreads through the entire thing. And I've got a couple perks set up where it bounces between them. So it doesn't just do the initial spread. It'll then back bounce to the originators.
Look into that, because I've been using. I love the plague, whatever it is, contagion a lot.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite ones, because I once did it on one person and two people, and it bounced from one, bounced back, and I wish it could have kept going. I gotta get that one that lets it keep bouncing between more than 3 people.
Yeah, it's a real fun, and there's ones that you can increase like the distance and spread and stuff. So much depth into the hacking that I'm hoping folks are getting a chance to. But at the same time, like Tom's talking about, like some of my most fun moments have been running in with my handguns, shooting a bunch of people. If someone's too far away, then I'll drop a hack on them just to stun them or to cause some damage, and then give me enough time to close in to be able to get better damage on them with a handgun. So it's the combat is really fun in this game. I'm really happy to hear that so many people have different approaches to it.
Yeah, it sounds like both paths are totally fun, totally cool, worth going. And like you're not going to go wrong either way. It just gives you more reason to start another character later and go through it with a different kind of build.
Oh, I know.
So you're doing a nomad, right?
Yeah, my main is a nomad right now. Mine is.
Yeah.
I was just wondering how much nomad
conversational
do you have in the very beginning? Yeah. Because Corporal had a ton.
They're pretty common. They come up pretty regularly. There are some mainline quests where you talk to, I can think of some major characters where they come in handy, or they just help. Some people have complained that it's like, some people complain, they're like, well, the speech options for your life path kind of don't really do a whole lot after the beginning. They build out your character depth. They also give you insight into other characters in ways that you wouldn't have gotten it if you didn't have a commonality with them or something that perspective,
like with Meredith. If you do the corporal round, it makes it a lot more easier to be okay with her at the end, because it's like, I'm a corporal, you're a corporal, we're kind of buddies then.
Right. Yeah, the same kinds of stuff happens with certain other characters, and I won't spoil it, but and sometimes it's not even, hey, you're a nomad and I'm a nomad, like you're a corporal and I'm a corporal. Sometimes it's just like, there's a lot going on with you in this, which is similar to my experience with this. And so in some ways we are more alike than you think, like that comes up in dialogue too.
Like with Rogue in Afterlife, when she starts explaining stuff, you're like, that's how the Chinese corporals work. It's like, she asks, like, how do you know this? Like, I'm privy to their playbook.
Yeah. And it's cool. I like it. It gives you, it helps build out, a character that feels a little bit more real. And I don't have anything wrong with that.
Actually.
Yeah. And I'm fine with, especially the main quest lines, not diverging paths too much, depending on your answers. I think it's a game where you have so many divergent paths and the end game is so different depending on the paths you pick is never really what I expected for this. I expected it to be more like The Witcher, where your conversations with other characters may affect your relationship with those other characters. And the end game comes down to like a few specific moments and a few specific options you made along the way. That's the way I've always seen this being built out, because that's the pedigree. That's where they came from. I didn't expect this to be, you know, like Fallout 4, where you're like, well, I sided with this group, and so this totally other thing happened. I never expected that to be the point of it. So, but I think some people had different expectations. But
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to know, because they push the idea of this being an RPG, and it is, but it does have an end game goal to it. Like there is a final mission that you have to do, and it has to lead easily enough into any DLC that they put out that it doesn't feel odd, considering you're in one city. So I feel
they
like
also have to leave it open for multiplayer too if they want to.
Yeah, I still wonder about that. There's still a lot of questions.
Big question
how
mark.
that's going to work out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I wonder if they're going to do it like GTA, like kind of ish, like where you're like in GTA.
That's my expectation.
You fly into town.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like a GTA Online kind of thing, where you are living a life in. You're not V. You're living the life of whatever online character you've created in this.
Yeah,
in the
city.
It
look like V, but
yeah, you can make it look like V, but it's a different character. Yeah, you're living your life among a bunch of other people, doing whatever you want, going on side quests, grouping up with other people. Yeah. Angel Talk said online will predate game. I don't know what. Oh, you mean the events of the online will happen before the events of the storyline in the game? Yeah, that's another consideration I had for that as well. But we'll talk about that in the future, because that seems the details of that will depend on, of course, the events of the story and all that as we get through it. So, well, guys, I think that's about it for this episode. Kaither, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for supporting the show. Super cool stuff. Is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up? Any projects you're working on, things you want to talk about, or just ways people can get a hold of you?
I am not working on anything. I really don't have the time for that. Really have and stuff. But if they want to get a hold of me, on PlayStation as Kaither, Singway spell on Discord, not underscore Noxblood. I think that's how it is. Or it's Kaither Nox at least. Okay. Well, you can always share it on Discord too if you want to. Yeah, I'll share it on Discord. Group up with on people. General or something like that. Yeah. And Logan, you got anything going on you want to talk about before we head out? I'm 100 hours in. This game's amazing. Nothing going on this week for Sea of Thieves. Next week definitely, but I can't wait to finish this game, man. I want to do the story, but I want to clear out the rest of the zones too. And I have a feeling. Me too. I have a feeling. So I have a feeling that the reason the other zones don't feel necessarily as story rich is I think that those are going to be focuses for the DLC. So that's my parting thought. That might be it. Yeah, I would really like a DLC for like the Nomad area, like what's I forget what it's called. Wastelands, the Wasteland. Yeah, the Waste. I would really love that. Like maybe like maybe if you're actually Nomad, like it could go Deadlands? Into like it. Yeah, it could bring into like why you're. Does it ever go into why your Nomad family got broken up? I wonder. You start to reveal bits of it in conversations. Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if it did that because I did it for the corpos and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things that, or at least space maybe, because there is a gig for space. Something hits in the ground and you go and retrieve it. Yeah, there's there's stuff out there. So maybe space. Yeah. All right. Well, I've got my regular shows are all kicking off the next year. Fallout Lorecast and Elder Scrolls Lorecast are going into year 3. I've updated all the art and stuff. As you can see in the live stream, I've updated the Cyberpunk Lorecast art for year 2 of Cyberpunk Lorecast. All sorts of fun stuff. The Dungeons and Dragons Lorecast is going to be year 2.
so many fun things. I'm going to be doing some more in-game gameplay streams where I stream as Captain Robots and play through Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online. And then those show up as extra bonus episodes in between regular episodes on those other streams, which are super fun because I roleplay myself in the world and talk with the characters. And of course they're voice acted, so they respond, and it's a good time. So, if you haven't checked out those other shows and you're into those games, definitely go check them out. But that's what I've got going on. And you guys know how to get a hold of us. Join us on the Discord. Let us know your thoughts about the gameplay. Share your screenshots. We've got a bunch of screenshots. Oh, and Kaither, you know what I forgot? Do you still want to give away that statue that you have?
Let me go. I can bring it actually over.
Why don't you bring it over? Kaither has one of the limited edition statues of V on the motorcycle, like flying off the motorcycle with the guns. Here it is. And he wants to give this away. And I was thinking we could do a screenshot competition. And we'll share this on social media and such. But I think what we should do is we should do a screenshot competition. And Kaither, you were thinking some sort of vehicle screenshot in game, right? Because he's on his motorcycle on that statue.
Yeah.
And here's what you need to do. You need to log into the Robots Radio Discord. You can just search Robots Radio Discord. It'll come right up. Join us on the Discord. There is a Cyberpunk screenshots channel. Go to the Cyberpunk screenshots, share your screenshot in there. And it has to have something to do with a vehicle. And I think what we'll do is we'll let this run a few weeks, maybe run the month of January. So people have plenty of time to play, get some awesome screenshots, put them up on the Discord channel. And then Kaither, I think you should be the judge since you're doing the giveaway, buddy. You get to pick your favorite one, and whatever one he thinks is the coolest is going to get that statue. And you'll ship it out to somebody. Doesn't matter where they are. Should we say just US people only? Because it's going to cost more to ship it.
Yeah. US would be easiest, especially with all the COVID. I don't want anything getting lost and shipping and stuff.
Been crazy.
Yeah. So sorry, Hawaii and Alaska. Oh,
sorry,
Alaska
continental US. Sorry if you're outside of the continental US due to costs and things. But if you are in the continental US, you can have it shipped to you. If you can still do this and win as long as you ship it to somebody in the continental US. So if you're from Canada and you win, just choose somebody to give it to in the US.
Yeah, Canada. Like I'm fine shipping to Canada. It doesn't have to be US. It just has to be the same continent.
All right. So North America. If you're in North America, then yeah.
I don't really trust anything going overseas right now with all the restrictions and stuff.
Yeah, and I just don't want you to have to spend like $100 just to ship the thing. Like that would be crazy.
Yeah, and the one that you'll be getting is not this opened one. It's
closed.
It's in a box. It's open. I opened the box just to make sure it's in there because it's not that heavy. So I'm like, I just open it. I open it to make sure the styrofoam was everything in it, but yeah, the styrofoam's still taped together, shut. It's all that's fine. It's just the box is open to make sure the styrofoam is in there.
Right, still brand new, still not used. So
I have not touched that statue. I've only touched my own.
Right, only touch your own. Don't touch other people's statues. That's the lesson from this week.
It is really nice. Like the pictures don't do it. At least the pictures of my phone picks up doesn't do justice. Yeah,
it does look really, really cool. I'm sure. I'm kind of bummed that I can't compete for this because it wouldn't be fair, and I think it would be better for one of our listeners to get it anyway. But it does look really, really cool. So yeah, take some awesome screenshots, share them in our Discord, and so that we don't have like bazillions of them, let's limit it to 3 per person. So 3 screenshots at most per person you can enter in for the giveaway. Your first three screenshots you share from this date moving forward that include a vehicle will be entered. Sound good?
It's going to be the Cyberpunk.
Screenshots, or what is photo mode or something like that. What channel is that called?
It is Cyberpunk photo mode.
Cyberpunk photo mode.
And how long we want to do this till?
You want to give it a month, or do you want to just do a few weeks? I mean, it's quite a big prize, so we should probably give people time to.
Yeah, I want to get people, especially people that got it on Christmas, give them time to.
Yeah. So you want to say by our patron chat for January?
Yeah. Next one, I'll start. I'll look through them the day before, and then I'll announce it on here, and then they can contact me through Discord or something like that.
All right. So that's easy. That's the 31st. So that is the end of January. So our next patron chat will be on January 31st. So you've got all of this month to get some awesome screenshots, put them in there, and there you go. and share them. And if you don't win, at least you get to see a whole lot of cool screenshots and share cool screenshots, and we get to comment on them. So that's fun too.
Yeah, this thing has a lot of cool decals or stickers on it. My favorite one is it looks like the banana stickers, like the little yellow and blue one, and it's Concordia or Conchica Tita gun sellers, but it just looks like the banana sticker,
like the Chiquita banana. Yeah.
Yeah. Chiquita.
Yeah. That's fun. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. It's good to have you all here, and we will see you next week with another regular episode of the podcast. And get some pictures in. We want to see those awesome photos. And good luck on your chance of winning that statue. All right, guys. Have a good one. Stay safe in Night City. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in to the Cyberpunk Lorecast. This show is a part of the Robots Radio Network, smart podcasts for interesting people. If you'd like to help support the show, please tell a friend and leave a 5-star review on iTunes. If you'd like to get in contact, please send an email to cyberpunklorecast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at cyberpunklore. Also, join the community on the Robots Radio Discord. The link is in the show notes. The music on the show was written and performed by The Midnight and was used with their permission. Go check them out at themidnightofficial.com. Until next time, stay safe in Night City. We'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.